Hey guys, I wanted to finish talking to you about the factor market. In the previous video, I talked to you about the competitive factor market and derived demand. In this one, I will be talking to you about the least cost hiring rule and monopsonies. Okay, so here's how the least cost hiring rule works. We will not be doing profit max. Okay, remember profit max is wherever your MRP is equal to your MFC. That's your profit max, but we're not going to do that. We're going to be doing the least cost hiring rule, which means every single time you have two goods or two products, two factors, every time you have two factors, you're going to be thinking about this. The first thing that pops in your mind: marginal product of labor divided by the price of labor, marginal product of capital divided by the price of capital. Now, what we're doing here is we're trying to figure out how many labor we should hire and capital we should hire. And this is going to give us the least cost way to do it, is wherever our marginal product divided by price is equal to our marginal product divided by price. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be given something with the labor and the capital. So we're going to be given the labor numbers and the marginal product. If they give you total, you need to find the marginal. Okay? Then we'll get the capital and the marginal. Okay, so let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's say the marginal product is 58, or no, 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10, and your capital is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and your marginal product is 100, 90, 80, 60, and 45. So that's your marginal product. So see how we're dealing with labor and capital. The first thing you want to do is you want to figure out the marginal product of labor divided by the price of labor. So let's say your price of labor is $5. Another way they could tell you is your wage is $5. So what we have to do here is we have to figure out the marginal product divided by the price. So that would be the marginal product divided by the price. So that would be 50 divided by 5. So 10. The next one would be 40 divided by 5, which is 8. All I'm doing is the marginal product divided by the price, which is wage. Marginal product divided by the price for the wage. Okay, and so that'd be 10, 8, 6, 5. Well, that's not right. It'd be 4 and 2. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do, step 2, would be finding the marginal product of capital divided by the price of capital. Let's say the rent is $10 per hour. So the idea here is that you are buying a machine, but you have to rent it for $10 an hour. So that's your price of capital is 10. So all we're going to do here is your marginal product divided by the price. So it would be 100 divided by the price, which is 10. So that would be equal to 10. You're now going to be doing 90 divided by 10. All I'm doing is the marginal product divided by the price. So that would be 9, 8, 6, and 4.5. Step 3 would be figuring out wherever they are equal. Now, I highly suggest that you circle your wherever their marginal product divided by prices are equal. So, for example, I have a 10 and I have a 10. Notice that I'm doing the marginal product divided by price equal to the marginal product divided by price. So 10 and 10. Do I have an 8? I'm looking here. Do I have an 8? Yes. Do I have a 6? Yes. Do I have a 4? No. Do I have a 2? No. So these are our options. Okay. These are our options. Okay. So now that we have our options here, we have to figure out which one can we afford. Okay. Which one can we afford? Now for that one, you need to think about, well, what is our budget? So our budget, let's just say for instance, is, let's say, 40 bucks, $40. Okay. If your budget is $40, okay, and you want to do the least cost hiring rule, you should start with the least amount of labor and capital. So we're trying to make the most product with our budget. That's the goal. So the first bundle we have is 10, 10. So that's one labor and one capital. So how much does this cost us? Well, if we have one labor, we have to pay him $5. And if we have capital, we have to pay $10. So my total cost is 15. Okay. What's the second option? The second option is 2 labor and 3 capital. How am I getting that? Because it's 8 and 8, and that happens at 2 labor and 3 capital. Okay. So if I have 2 labor and 3 capital, how much does that cost me? Well, I have to pay wage, which is 5, and the rent, which is 10. So my total cost of the labor is 10, and my total cost for the capital is 30. So my total cost is 40. Okay, if I have 2 labor and I pay them $5, the total cost is 10. It's 5 times 2. And then the total cost for the capital is 10 times 3. So my total cost is 30. So if I add these together, it's going to be 40. The total cost from capital is 30. Total cost from labor is 10. So my total cost is 40. Am I maximizing my budget? Yes. Is this the best option? Yes. Okay. Now, what is my total product if I'm hiring 2 labor and 3 capital? Well, my total product from labor is what? Well, let's take a look at it. If I hire 2 labor, what does the first person make? The first person makes me 50 marginal product. What does the second person make? The second person makes 40. So if I hire 2 people, the total product is 90, which is 50 and 40. So 90. If I hire 3 capital, what's the first capital give me? 100. What's the second one give me? 90. What's the third one give me? 80. So the total product here is going to be 100 plus 90 plus 80, because the first one gave me 100, the second one gave me 90, and the third one gave me 8. The second one gave me 90, and the third one gave me 80. So total is going to be 270. So my total product is going to be 360. Okay. So that is the least cost hiring rule. Very important that you understand that you need to follow these steps. You need to find the marginal product divided by price for both goods, and then find out where they're equal. And then you need to figure out if it's in budget, meaning you only have $40. Can you afford this bundle? The second option on the least cost hiring rule is that they can give you some random numbers. So for instance, let's say they gave you the marginal product of labor is 50 and the price of labor is 10. And then they told you the marginal product of capital is 100 and the price of capital is 10 as well. So the question becomes, right, how much do we hire? So you're going to do the rule again, which is marginal product divided by the price, marginal product divided by the price. And so that would be 50 divided by 10 is equal to 100 divided by 10. If you did the rule here in the calculator, it'd be 5 equals 10. Now, your labor side and your capital side. This is the marginal product of capital and the marginal product of labor. So are they equal? No. How can we make them equal? Well, we need to increase the 5 and we need to decrease the 10. Now going back to marginal, the more I do, right, the more I consume, the more I buy, the more, right, the more whatever, what happened to the marginal? As I consume more, the marginal product decreases. So if I want to decrease the marginal product, I should hire more. I should hire more capital. If I want to increase the marginal product, I should do less. If I do less, it's going to do the opposite. It's going to increase the marginal product. So I should hire less labor. Now I hire more capital until we're equal. I hire less labor until we're equal. That's the thing. Okay, so if you're given numbers, you put them in and you figure out where they're equal, and then you need to figure out, okay, I need to increase this side and decrease this side, so I need to hire more, hire less. Okay, the question is going to be pretty obvious when it gives it to you. Okay, it's going to tell you margin product and the price, and you got to figure out if they're equal. If they are equal, you're good to go. If they're not equal, you have to figure out if you have to hire more or hire less. All right, as promised, I will be finishing off with the monopsony. Okay, monopsony is an interesting one because it is just like a monopoly, but instead it's going to be flipped. Now, what we mean by that is that they are the only buyer of labor. They're the only place that you can work. Okay, only place you can work. So if that's the only place that you can work, guess what? They are a wage maker. So they can change the wages they want. Now, that also means that if they want to hire more people, what do they have to do to wage? Well, do you want to work more or less at a wage? You want to work more at a higher wage. So hire more people, you need to raise wage. That's what you need to do. Okay. Now, here's what a monopsony graph is going to look like. It's going to be the wage. It's going to be the quantity of labor. This is your demand for labor. Guess what? Your demand for labor doesn't change. It's the MRP. Remember, MRP is the marginal revenue times the marginal product. And then, because you can only work at this place, guess what? That's your supply of labor. Now, here's the deal. Because they're a wage maker, they can change the wage. If they can change the wage, this changes your marginal factor cost. So your marginal factor cost is going to look like that. Marginal factor cost. Now, the steps are the same. We still will do marginal revenue product equals marginal factor cost. We will still do that. So that happens at this point right here. We will then find quantity of labor straight down. And then step 3 would be finding the wage. Now, how do we find price in the monopoly graph? We went up to demand. But a monopsony is going to be a flip of that. So instead of going up to the demand curve, we are now going to be going up to the supply curve. Up to supply. So that would happen right here. So this is the wage for the monopsony. Okay. So this is what a monopsony charges. A competitive market or a competitive firm, right? They do demand is equal to, or the MRP is equal to supply, because remember their supply of labor is equal to the wage. So this would be the competitive wage in the competitive quantity. As you can see, a monopsony hires less at a lower wage. That's what a monopsony does. So that is going to be it for monopsony. Okay, that's the main points there. Um, if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'd be happy to help you out in any way I can. If you have suggestions for another video, be sure to let me know. So that'll be all for today. Thank you so much for watching these videos, and I'll see you later.